Elephant Man Podcast Network, grown man conversations dealing with elephants in the room. What's going on? It's your man DB. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell so you can know when new material is coming out. What's going on, family? What's going on, friends? What's going on, everybody? God bless y'all. And we just thank you guys. We have this little show going on tonight about the Scramble for Africa. It really was based off of Scramble for Africa Part 2, but I said, well, might as well just go back and go over the history of Scramble for Africa, the first Scramble for Africa. So like, subscribe, share. Hope everybody's doing well this afternoon. Hope everybody's doing well this evening. So I want to get right into some other things. If you didn't see this, if you haven't seen this, vitamin D deficiency, mental health, and melanated people. Make sure you go and check that out. That's on the page. All right. And who is the God of this world? Special guest panel, Big Red, Second Exodus, and Rohan Ragaram. They came in and we had a good time. A good time. Also tomorrow. Oh, wait. The dangling carrot, the true cost of free money. All right. We feel real good about that free money, but it's a cost to it, So check that out. And tomorrow, part 2, the scramble for the new scramble for Africa. But I want to go into the historical part of what's going on. Shalom, Lynn. Shalom, Sister Lynn. Blessings to you. Blessings to you. I want to go over the historical part first, but I think a lot of times when we got to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. That's what the scripture tells us. And a lot of times people say, man, you got a conspiracy theory and you got a negative mindset. And if you just think positive, it'll go away. You know what I'm saying? We just think positive. But no, man, he wants us to watch and what? Pray. He wants us to watch and pray. That's what he wants us to do. And so we're not calling nobody out. We're not throwing nobody under the bus. We just, whatever you do is whatever you do, right? And so I'm praying for those who took the jab or whatever. I don't want to get into that. But look at this. Just got this book. Shout out to my cousin, Jason Turner. It's called Medical Apartheid. I just got it. Medical Apartheid, the dark history of medical experimentation on Black Americans from colonial times to present, by Harriet A. Washington. Look her up, Harriet A. Washington. It's only like $14 on Amazon. Medical Apartheid. So it's been experiments going on the whole time since we got here, right? More than just Tuskegee. That's the one that stick out like a sore thumb, so everybody talk about the Tuskegee Project. But it's more than that, all right? So I want to get right into it. Like, subscribe, share. Make sure you share with other people so we can know what's going on. I'm going to share the screen, present. Oh, no, don't present yet. Wait till I get on there. All right, let's get right on here. Share the screen. The tab. Scramble for Africa. Yes. And present. Okay, I'm going to go back over and see what's going on. Yep, we can see it. So I'm going to be going back and forth between both screens. The Scramble for Africa. How the African continent became divided, right? A lot of times we think of Africa as like how the States is. It's one continent and a whole bunch of states. But these are independent countries within the continent, or on the continent of Africa. This man right here, his name is Leopold, right? King Leopold, right? And he went and he started to do some things in the Republic of Congo. Now, if a lot of people don't know, and I'm not going to touch on it a lot, but the Congo was where a lot of the Congo Bantus were at. The Bantu Hebrews was on there. All right, I seen this post before. It said 2 monsters. Hitler killed over 10 million Europeans, and Leopold killed over 15 million Africans. Why are we only taught about one of them? Right. All right. So the Scramble for Africa. Let's get into it. The Scramble for Africa, also known as the Race for Africa, or the Partition of Africa, was a process of invasion, occupation, colonization, and annexation of African territory by European powers during the New Imperialism period between 1881 and World War II in World War I in 1914. As a result of the heightened tension between European states in the last quarter of the 19th century, the partitioning for Africa may be seen as a way of Europeans eliminating the threat of Europe-wide war over Africa. So they was fighting, they was going back and forth for who should have. They was colonizing. They were trying to say who should be in control of Africa. Oh wow, we got this stream thing going on. Okay, the last 59 years of the 19th century saw transitions from informal imperialism of control through military influence and economic dominance to that of direct rule. So this is the same playbook: military influence and economic dominance. Military influence and economic dominance. Right? Let's go to the next one. Berlin Conference from 1884 to 1885, a whole year. All right. Many African polite states and rulers such as Ashanti, Abyssinian, Moroccans, Dervishes, and Zulus sought to resist the wave of the European aggression. However, the Industrial Revolution had provided the European armies with advanced weapons such as machine guns, which African armies found difficult to resist. With the exception of the Abyssinians, they won the war, who were indeed successful. Also, unlike their European counterparts, African rulers stated that people did not at first form a continental united front, although within a few years the Pan-African movement started. So basically, they had this conference in Berlin for like a year, right? So they had this conference in Berlin for like a year, right, on how they can cut up and divide Africa. Because Africa has a lot of wealth in it, believe it or not. Africa has a lot of wealth in it. Gold, diamonds, silver, cobalt, this rare metal that they put in all cell phones is found in Africa, right? So a lot of times we see Africa, it's the baby, they're all linked over with flies on their face, and they just looking real sad. Well, they got the resources there, right, in the land to take care of themselves, to dig wells, to plant schools, to build hospitals. But if somebody else own it, then what can you do about that, right? What can you do about that? Okay, why Africa? Like I said, gold, diamond, timbers, the land itself, labor, trade, that's the people. Iron, copper, ivory, oils, rubber, cotton, and the cacao beans. And so it also fueled the Industrial Revolution. If people don't understand, the Industrial Revolution came within the great right after the slavery period. God, I forgot what it's called. That's good to come to me in a minute. The Ruach can bring it to me. But they was doing a building process, right? And so during the Industrial Revolution, they had railroads, steamships. They had all this different stuff that they used. A lot of motors and a lot of plants, and that's what the Ford, the Model T came out. A lot of different things that was going on. So they needed some to be able to fuel the Industrial Revolution. And white man's burden, which is social Darwinism. We're going to get into that. So social Darwinism was a sociological theory popular in the late 19th century Europe and the United States. It merged Charles Darwin's theory of natural selection and Herbert Spencer's social theory to justify imperialism, racism, and laissez-faire, i.e. conservatism. So it's the survival of the fittest mode, right? So it's a social Darwinism, right? A hierarchy of greater than when I'm greater than this person, or you know what I mean? So that social Darwinism was terrible, right? That's where a lot of the racism and imperialism and stemmed from that. All right. What was the main goal of the European countries when they divided Africa? The main goal of European countries when they divided Africa was to gain profit from the riches of Africa and not benefit the Africans. That sounds all too familiar. That's the same gang, same ball. The indigenous people of the New Zealand islands, and the indigenous people of The Hawaiian Islands, right? People go there, and it's one of the 50 states. But I see in the story some of the people that live on the island, they was kind of upset, you know what I mean? Because they get pushed further and further away, and then they have, get the beaches and the resorts and all of that stuff. Now, some of them profiting off of it, you know what I mean? But some people was very upset. Australia, right? South Africa. The list goes on and on. America itself, right? Pushed the Indians, or not the Indians, the Native Americans to the land, to the corner, and they didn't get no benefits from it. Who divided Africa? Representatives of 13 European states, the United States of America, and the Ottoman Empire converged on Berlin at the invitation of German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck to divide up Africa among themselves in accordance with the international law. Africans were not invited to this meeting. Hold on right there. You talking about dividing up? Oh, Reconstruction. Thank you, Ruma. Reconstruction period. I knew it. Thank you, Ruma. I appreciate that. They had the secret meeting for over a year, and Africans was not invited to this meeting. Right? That's very interesting. So these players in this: Britain, France, Germany, Portugal, Spain, Italy, Belgium, Holland, just to name a few. What were the three conditions at the Berlin Conference? There were three conditions at the Berlin Conference. Slave trade was allowed. Most lakes and waterways were considered neutral. Because remember, they cut the whole continent up, right? Germany get this, and France get this, and and England get that. But so the waterways and the rivers went through the whole continent. So they say, okay, don't nobody own the rivers and the lakes and the waterways. They are neutral. We all gonna share them. Because I might own the Congo in the middle of the continent. I might need to go through a waterway to get there, right? So Africa will be divided among European nations and America. All right. Called by King Leopold II of Belgium, right? Gathering of European leaders to decide how to divide Africa was called the Great African Cake. And you see all these different: Portugal, Spain, Italy, Germany, Great Britain, France, pulling on it, right? We all want a piece of that pie. Africa they always sell it like, oh man, it's a terrible place. You don't want to go there. Well, everybody want to go there and live and get the resources and the wealth and everything out of there, right? Why did the scramble for Africa happen? The reason for African colonization were mainly economic, political, and religious. During this time of colonization, an economic depression was occurring in Europe, right? So they was losing all money. The powerful countries such as Germany, France, and Great Britain were losing money. And look, even what's going on now with the whole economy is all messed up, right? All of the nations, they're losing money. That's why they're going to try to do a great reset. And I don't want to jump ahead of myself for the Scramble for Africa Part 2, but China's buying up a lot of land over there in Africa. They're building high rises, they're building houses, they're building ship ports. And I'm kind of going ahead, and not only China, but some other countries as well, because they're going to go back and dig back into Africa again. If Africa is not depleted, it's a whole bunch of resources in Africa, right? So they was losing money, so they say, man, we gotta get our money back. You can argue that Berlin Conference is still causing problems in Africa because of the conference split the continent up into countries without any rhyme or reason, and because it gave those countries to various European powers to rule for their own benefit and not for the benefit of the natives. Crazy. The classic, what's mine is mine, what's yours is mine. That math is crazy, right? What's mine is mine is yours. Shout out to Siegel. Selects. Oh man, I can't pronounce that right. That's my son right there, man. I ain't mean to call you a Siegel, but you could tell me how to pronounce it later. Sorry, bro. In summary, no Africans present. Basically, in this meeting, they said if you can establish control, it's yours, right? And then this is another thing too. Africa gets caught and the dependency theory economically. The dependency theory is even to this day, right? We dependent upon someone else to give us a job, to give us resources, to hire us and not fire us, right? To give us an endorsement. If we speak out too loud, then they can just take it, right? So that's a dangling carrot, right? Those are different things that you can use. They can use to control and manipulate and intimidate you. And eliminate African self-governance. Wow. Eliminate the autonomy, right? Eliminate self-governance. So they want to make you dependent and eliminate autonomy. That sounds like a lot of stuff was going on today. Dependency theory, a financial dependency between the rich and the poor nations, and not just the nations, but the people, right? So they're trying to create this wealth gap. So one person or people can always be dependent upon another person or people, right? Africa received, so here's a modern day example of dependency theory. Africa received many billions of dollars in the form of loans from wealthy nations between early 70s and 2002. Those loans compounded interest. Although Africa has effectively paid off the initial investments into these lands, it still owes billions of dollars in interest. Africa, therefore, has little or no resource to invest in itself, in its own economy or human development. So that is a dirty game and a dirty trick. They can't even invest in themselves. So they paid off the loan, but it was high compound interest. So they're always in debt. You know, the debtor is always, the person that's the borrower is always servant to the debtor, to the person who owns, to the loan, the person who loaned the money out. It is unlikely that Africa will ever prosper unless the interest is forgiven by the more powerful nations that lent an initial money in erasing the debt. So even China right now, China got loan Africa countries a lot of money, right? Again, they had all of the resources, but if you don't have the mining equipment to get the diamonds, if you don't have just the equipment to be able to, if you don't own it, right? You're standing on the soil, it's your land, but you don't own it, right? You can't really make no big moves with it, right? You're at the mercy of someone else, okay? Imperialism. I'm getting to the good part. Imperialism. What is imperialism? European nations attempt and success in colonizing as many areas in Africa and Asia as possible for the sole benefit of their home nation. So you go and you crown a foreign land for your home nation. The seizure of a country or territory by a stronger country. This is another reason why I believe why it's always weapons. And even now they're doing a big push on gun control. You know, they say, oh, these mass shootings are so terrible. We need to get rid of all the guns. You just need to trust us, right? But this country is real big on Second Amendment rights and stuff. So it'll be crazy. These folk ain't giving up their guns because they operate out of fear and violence. So they're not giving up their guns. They're keeping their guns, right? And so even the arms race, right? Some countries, they don't, oh, we don't want you to, you can have no nuclear weapon. Well, you got nuclear weapon. Why can't they have nuclear weapon? You can go in there at will and bully and punk them out. If you got nuclear weapons, but they don't got nuclear weapons, feel me? So, and it is what it is. It's data. I'm just reading data. People be like, DB tripping. I'm reading data. In the case of Africa and Europe, nations dominate. And in the case of Africa, the European nations dominated all aspects of the weaker countries, including politics, economics, and social lives of the people. Factors promoting imperialism: technology, new weapons, new steamships, and railroads. Remember, it's the Industrial Revolution. Steamships get up and down the waterways with ease. Railroads build railroads and guess what? Even in the railroads and the Reconstruction period in America, we laid them railroads, right? They tell them story. John Henry, a steel driving man, two big hammers in his hand. I mean, of course, it was a folklore story, but we actually built this country and many countries, right? Cheap labor, free labor for the benefit of someone else. Interesting. Africans susceptible to disease. Europeans has quinine for malaria. So they had something to help them from catching malaria. Europeans played off African rivalries on one another and kept them from becoming unified. Now that's interesting. They came together for a whole year, and met up how they gonna divide Africa, right? But they always kept the African people pitted against each other, right? So that's very, very interesting. Because if you divide it, any house divided cannot stand. We know that. That's the scripture. The forces driving imperialism, Industrial Revolution, the belief of European superiority, right? So that white man's burden. So the white man's burden, it was a poem, and it was basically talking about it's the burden of the white man to civilize all uncivilized nations. So it's a humanitarian global quest type thing. You know what I mean? Manifest clandestiny, something like that. I ought to just repackage that. But it's basically saying we got to civilize and get the rest of the countries and to get the rest of the world, the world straight. You know what I mean? For the sake of humanitarianism, right? Okay, national pride, empire as a measure of national greatness. All right, we talked about social Darwinism. Factors promoting imperialism in Africa. European technology, superiority, superior arms, right? Remember we talked about like today, they don't want certain nations to have nuclear weapons, right? Or heavy AR-15s and different things like that. But they had a gun called the Maxim gun in 1884, the first automatic machine gun, right? The means to control the empire, the steam engines, the railroads, the cables, the steamships, the medical advancements, right? Anti-malaria drugs so they can live longer, and rival groups where Africa gave them an advantage. We talked about that. Principle of effectivity. Powers could hold colonies if they could actually possess them. Treaties with local leaders, flew their flag, established a police force to maintain order. That happened in 1800s, guys. Same ball game, same playbook that's going on today, guys. Same playbook. Flew their flag, right? Very hard on nationality and culture. But when you come and say, hey, we the people, Deuteronomy 28, y'all dropped in my spirit. Oh, it's neither Jew nor Greek, and he didn't come to save color. It doesn't matter. Turn the other cheek and look towards heaven, and earth is not your home, and all these little key taking scripture out of content and manipulate and intimidate you to believe something other, right? Establishing the police force to maintain order. Colonial power also had to make use of the colonial economically. If not done, other powers would do so and take over that territory. So they was even dog then. So if France didn't have a stronghold over this little area that they wanted, maybe France wanted this part of Africa because they had a lot of silver there, right? Hey, you got a while to establish it. If you don't establish it, Belgium come in, boom, they stronger. Move your flag, plant my flag. Well, it's mine now. You know what I'm saying? You have to, shalom, woman of God, shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom. All right, let's see. The outcomes. So these are the outcomes that they said because of the Scramble for Africa. Colonies consisted of various ethnic groups. They were ethnicity again, some hostile towards each other. Low self-governance and control of homeland. Wow. The loss of self-governance, self-autonomy, and control of the homeland. You can stay here, but this mine. You know what I'm saying? You can work here, but I get the bigger cut of the money, if not all the money, right? Families separated, move from home. All right. Adopt a blend of European and African culture. I thought culture wasn't important. They blended the cultures. Create roots to World War I, right? Because it was a lot of greed going on, and that's one of the reasons why World War I. One of the main reasons why World War I happened. Cecil Rhodes, English businessman, founder of De Beers. De Beers is a diamond company. He owns in South Africa. There's one of the largest diamond manufacturing diamond plants in the world. Cecil De Beers on it. His state is Cecil Rhodes. I said Cecil De Beers. State of Rhodesia, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Botswana. Right? All right. Long-term effects. European language and cultures lasted. Do you see that? It say culture don't matter. That stuff don't matter. Right? But look, the European languages and cultures last. One of the, I think the second, if not the third language in Togo is still French. So if you can speak French fluently, you good to go in certain parts of Africa, right? Speak Spanish fluently, you're good to go in certain parts of Africa. Resources depleted to the Europeans, but there's still lots of resources. Brain drain theory, all right? Okay, Stanley Livingstone, right? Stanley and Livingstone. David Livingstone was a Scottish missionary who traveled deep into Africa in the late 1860s and disappeared. Many thought he was dead, right? But they sent a lot of missionaries in there too, right? So I'm gonna read this letter from King Leopold, and you're not gonna believe it. I read this to my wife yesterday, and I was like, wow, we have to make sure. I wanted to verify it by a few different sources, and I verified it with 5 different other sources, and it's like, this is the letter, but they want to go in and missionary, right? Christianize your mind, right? All right. So let me go to this before I go to that letter. Stanley and Livingstone. The New York Herald hired Henry Stanley to travel to Africa to find Livingstone. Stanley was given the ultimate amount of money for his expedition. When Stanley found Livingstone, he reported to have said the famous greetings, Dr. Livingstone, I presume, which made world headlines, right? Now, this them two meeting. They never knew each other, but they sent him deep into Africa to find him, right? And he was they weren't savages and beat him down and all that different stuff. Look, they're carrying the flags and carrying his stuff and carrying his gun. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy, man. A missionary. Okay, Congo sparks interest. This guy right here, we always hear about Hitler. We never hear about King Leopold. King Leopold is a beast. He's a beast for real. King Leopold of Belgium commissioned Stanley to help him obtain the land of Congo. Now remember, like I said, a lot of the Bantu Hebrews is from that area of Congo. So he was capturing a lot of the Bantu Hebrews. And the Eves, the Bantu Hebrews, the Limba tribe, the Ashanti tribe from the kingdom of Ashan, and even Zulu, right? These are all different Hebraic tribes. And the Congo tribe, they was like away from civilization. They wasn't around nobody. I'm gonna share some links for to my guy Keithus. He's in England. He's from Congo, and they really didn't have no outside influence. So when they went into these different places, they kept dietary laws. They got the circumcision. They praised the Most High, Tata and Zombie, right? The Most High God, and it was real crazy. Like, man, y'all ain't got no outside influences. How y'all know how to do all of this stuff? Because it was always them, right? It was one of the quote unquote lost tribes, right? But anyway, I want to read Leopold's abuse of Congo. Leopold claimed that his reason for control was to abolish the slave trade. Well, that's what he said. But then earlier at that meeting, they were saying slave trade was good, right? He licensed companies to harvest sap from rubber trees. Leopold's private army mutilated people who would not harvest rubber. So some of the locals was like, "No, man, we ain't harvesting your trees." You know what I mean? Or that's my tree. What you doing? So they cut their hands off. They cut their hands off. Millions of people from Congo died doing this. The Belgian government took control of the colony from Leopold as a result. The French were alarmed by Belgium taking control of this country and began claiming parts of Africa. Soon other countries followed. Here's a picture of the mutilated Congolese, right? Cut their hands off. Got her hand cut off, or it might be a her. I think that's a her. Yeah, got a dress on. His hand cut off, right? Mutilated people of the Congo Free State. That's barbaric, man. That's cray-cray. Because they don't want to harvest the rubber sap from the trees, right? All right, that's a Shaka Zulu. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But let's go. I want to share something different. I'm going to share this letter. I'm going to stop sharing this screen. And I'm going to share this other screen. Stop sharing that screen. And I'm going to share the screen of this letter. And it tripped me out. I was tripping. Letter from King Leopold of Belgium to colonial missionaries, 1883. Letter of King Leopold II of Belgium to colonial missionaries. They don't want us to pull out these different documents right here. But check it out. Check it out. All right. Okay. This is the letter. It was in French, but they translated to English. And it's crazy. Reverends, fathers, and compatriots, the task is given to fulfill a very delicate and requires much tact. You will go certainly to evangelize, but your evangelize must inspire above all Belgian interests, right? So a lot of times folk be like, "Oh, just preach the gospel. Oh, y'all tripping? Just preach the gospel." I always stop and say, "Hey, what is the gospel? Are you preaching the true gospel? Are you preaching the true and living word?" Right? Because sometimes people got hidden agendas, right? It's something else besides it, right? So it was basically saying your job in evangelizing is to capture their mind and above all have Belgium interests. Your principal objective in our mission in the Congo is never to teach the triggers to know God. They already know. They know already. Look at what this says. To teach the triggers, your mission is not to teach the triggers to know God. They know him already. How they know that? A lot of these was, like I said, a lot of them was Bantu Hebrews. They speak and submit to Mangu and Zambi, the Most High God, Tata and Zambi, right? And Zakomba, right? So when you look these words up, they mean like the Most High God, the Provider God, and all that stuff. They're not talking about other God. They're talking about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm going to share a book with y'all on that too. But I digress because we're going to get into something different. But that is so amazing to me. That is so amazing to me. Oh, shalom, shalom, Blacktastic. Shalom, shalom. That's so amazing to me. So they said, look, I don't want you to go in there and evangelize, tell them about God when you go evangelize. I thought the whole purpose of evangelism was to go in and tell them about the Most High and win souls to the kingdom. He said they know him already. I want you to go in there for Belgium interest. They know to kill, to sleep with someone else's wife, to lie, and to insult is bad. So they already got morals. You see that? They already know if you kill somebody, sleep with somebody else's wife, lie, insult, that's bad. Have courage to admit it. You are not going to teach them what they know already. They know the morals, the standards, the Most High Yah. You ain't gonna teach them that. Your essential role is to facilitate the task of administrators and industrials, which means you will go to interpret the gospel in the way that will best protect your interests in that part of the world. So that sounds like another gospel to me. You go to interpret the gospel. What you mean? It's in black and white, homie. You ain't got to do add or take away from it, but you interpret the gospel to protect the interests in that part of the world. For these things, you have to keep watch on disinteresting our savages from the richness that is plenty in their underground. So basically, we don't want them to think about the gold beneath their feet, the diamonds beneath their feet, the cobalt. They know about it. You know what I mean? It was so plentiful and bountiful. You know, I'm not saying that they devalued it, but it was all around them. Why are you going to try to steal and cover something that's all? They lived in the paradise. Africa is a paradise, man. The pictures that they show us, man, it's a whole nother different ball game, right? So keep on disinteresting our savages from the richness that is plenty in their underground. To avoid that, they get interested in it and make you murderous. Competition and dream one day to overthrow you. So basically, like, look, you got to make them docile, bring them on down, because that was always a fear of being overthrown. Even in Exodus 3, right? It was always a fear to be overthrown. Man, they mighty, man. We gotta put yokes on them, and we gotta, because they might overthrow us. They're like, man, nobody trying to overthrow y'all. And that was the same thing too after the Reconstruction period. In 1865, got out of slavery. The mind was so messed up. It was so much mental, physical, and spiritual trauma. They weren't thinking about overthrowing. Some was upset. You had pockets, but the overall, it was they was just like, man, where we gonna go? What we trying to master? I don't want to. Some beg to stay, right? You know what I'm saying? Look at what we was in the wilderness. Said, man, you brought us out in the wilderness to die. Man, at least in Egypt, we was in bondage, but we had leeks and onions, right? So that's a lot of the slaves in 1865. Like, master, please, we ain't got nowhere to go. They were so dependent upon the master that they was like, man, it don't even matter, man. We'll come back, we'll work for little or nothing. That's why a lot of the sharecroppers, they got played. Anyway, okay. Your knowledge of the gospel will allow you to find texts ordering and encouraging your followers to love poverty. This was written in 1883, y'all. Like, happier are the poor because they will inherit heaven, right? Scripture taken out of content. As a man thinking, so is he. You start hearing these different things, you be like, man, that vow of poverty is next to godliness and piety, and it's very difficult for the rich to enter the kingdom. So it's like basically use those kind of scriptures, right? You have to detach them and make them disrespect everything which give courage in front of us. Man, buck breaking, pretty much. Break them down. Anything that gives them courage. We don't want to hear these people roar at all. I make reference to the mystic system of their war fetish, war protection, which they pretend not to want to abandon, and you must do everything in your power to make it disappear. Right? Now, if they kill each other, quote unquote black on black crimes, I should say, cool. And we like, man, the way they wipe each other out is crazy. They can't never turn that on us. You feel what I'm saying? That self-hate is cool. They can hate each other, but they can't never turn that on us. That'd be crazy. It's a fearful thing, man. Your action will be directed essentially to the younger ones. See? Going for the youth. But they won't revolt when the recommendation of the priest is contradictory to their parents' teaching. Right? They won't revolt. They will be devout to what the priest saying. You know what I'm saying? Versus their parents' teaching. So their parents could be teaching about Tata and Zombie and El Elyon, the Most High God, or whatever, and they come along and they can teach something contrary to it, right? Stir them all up, confuse them to the point that, man, you know what? I don't believe you, or I don't even want to be a part of the faith no more, right? And he deals with they deal with our young early, even right now. Ain't no, the gloves is off. I don't care if your daughter is 9. We're gonna put provocative songs and dance and everything in front of them. I don't care how old they is, right? The gloves is off, right? You must singularly insist on their total submission and obedience. See, you know what I'm saying? Submit to the angel of the house. You know what I'm saying? And God got order. You know what I'm saying? We do got to submit. But I'm saying the way that their interest is what? Belgium interest, not for the kingdom. Their kingdom is of this world. Their kingdom is grabbing the resources from this world when they went and did this. So they're not thinking about the repercussions. They're not thinking about the things that the Most High gonna do later on. And that's one thing I'll be tripping. You know what I mean? People be like, oh man, people got the mistaken identity and fake identity and hold to the Talmud more so than the Torah. And I never understood that as a young. I was like, man, y'all gonna sit up here and lie and say that you're somebody else, and you don't think he gonna come in? Man, that blindness, that reprobate mind, you'll never want to be in that. We never want to be in that reprobate mindset. We always want the Most High to show us and keep talking to us and lead us and to guide us. We never want to be in that reprobate mindset. Praise Yah. All right. Avoid developing the spirit in the schools. Teach students to read and not to reason. Wow. Teach students to read and not to reason. Right? No thought. Don't question the thought. Don't, if you we hear a lot of times, like when professors can't stand that one student, they teaching out the book. Man, I got a question. So and so. Oh man, here he is. I don't want you to question nothing I say. I'm the expert. I'm the chief person dealing. I know everything. I'm the know-it-all in here. Don't question me. Don't ask me no question. Even some preachers like that. Man, it's because it's in the book, man. Don't, man, because God said so. And don't it ain't my words. I heard preachers get offended. It ain't my words. It's the Holy Spirit. And, well, I'm just asking this and asking that. You know what I mean? I don't want to deal with a lot of elephants in the room sometimes. Their dear patriot. Okay, teach students to read and not to reason. Their dear patriots. Some are the principles that you must apply. You will find many other books which will be given to you at the end of this conference. Evangelize to the triggers, so they will stay forever in submission to white colonists. When? Forever in submission to white colonists. I'm not making this up. I'm not dividing. I'm not this, that, and the other one. I know we need to come together and unite like the Wonder Twins and all of that stuff. But people got to have pure motives, pure objectives, and we got to love each other with the love of the Messiah, right? No hidden agendas. No, I love you, but I think I'm better than you. I love you, but I want your resources. I love you, but your loan is denied. Red line, you can't move in this community. I love you, but it's a big generation gap. You can't get what I'm getting. You know what I mean? So it got to be true, genuine. And there's some true, genuine folk out there, right? And there's some folk out there that's straight shady. He said, bring the history out. There's some folk out there that's straight shady. Evangelize to the triggers so that they will stay forever submission to the white colonists. So they will never revolt against the restraints they are undergoing. So even when we get mad, man, I'm mad. It's like, man, okay, you mad? Okay, we're going to let you peacefully protest. Peacefully. Don't tear my kingdom up. You can peacefully protest on the corners of 5th and Adams from 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Then after that, you got a curfew. You got to go home. Okay, you can bring signs out. You can do all that stuff. Okay, don't hurt my law enforcement. Don't tear my kingdom up. Then you go home. All right. And so there's no compassion. There's no empathy. There's no sympathy. Right. But it seems like it's two things. Violence, which I don't condone violence, tearing up of the kingdom, or mess with that pocketbook. Right? It's like, oh, what's going on, man? Nah, man, you know what I mean? And then they tell you what they tell you, okay, you know what? I was wrong. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the Washington Redskins mascot off of the helmet. It's gonna be the Washington football team. We're gonna take Aunt Jemima off the bottle. We're gonna take Uncle Ben's off the bottle, and I throw you extra bonus. We'll put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. What? That's why it's like, no, man, we don't want that. You telling us, you giving us what you want to give us. You know what I'm saying? No, we don't want that. But you got to have a plan. You got to know what you got. Oh man, we need A, B, C, X, Y, Z, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why it goes from one party to the other party, and our neighborhoods look the same. So we got to cry out to the Most High, ask for a divine strategy, and we got to have some level of autonomy, man. We can't be spoon-fed, right? We can't be led astray by the gatekeepers and the celebrities and the gatekeepers. All right? Evangelize, okay. So they will never revolt against undergoing. Recite every day. Recite this scripture every day. Happy are those who are weeping because the kingdom of God is for them. So when they get too sad, that's what you do. We got a few more, then we're gonna move on, guys. Convert always the blacks by using the whip. That pain, that suffering, Not only the whip, that billy club, that hanging, that just get done. Keep their women in 9 months of submission to work freely for us, right? Empower the women. Hey, right here, I ain't talking bad about the women. None of that. Feel what I'm saying? But it's like, man, you need to control that beast. So we're going to empower you, and that could be an empowerment, but it can be a dangling carrot if we're not looking at it right. Women is very intelligent. Women run the home. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying though, even the way it's set up, even look at the TANF system, the welfare system. All right, I'm gonna take care of you. You're gonna get health care. Matter of fact, your health care gonna be better than somebody working, right? Refrigerator full, steaks falling out the freezer, busting your toes up, right? All of that. Only thing, money every month. Only thing is you can't have a brother and you can't have a dude in there. Brother got to sneak in through the back, and he live there, but on the paper he don't live there, and car got to be gone by the morning. You know how it is in our neighborhoods, man. You know what I mean? Or even like education. Our sisters the most educated. Our sisters the most educated people, right? Brothers got some education too, but I'm saying it's always this. We're pitted against each other instead of working together. So as long as we're like, I don't need him, then you won't never work together. I don't need her. I just need a friend with benefits. No, that ain't what the covenant. That's what Most High said. He said we gotta have we in covenant one to another. You know what I'm saying? Covenant, man and a woman. Covenant. No, you know, I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna drive the car around the block. That ain't what this plan for us, man. I mean, it's tight, but it's right. All right. Using the whip. Keep the women 9 months submission to work freely for us. Force them to pay you in sight of recognition goats, chickens, eggs, every time you visit their village. Every time he come to the village, man, you better, we need some goats, chickens, eggs, something, right? And make sure the triggers never become rich. Oh. Sing every day that it's impossible for a rich to enter into heaven. Make sure you keep singing that. The rich can through the eye of a needle, right? Oh, you don't want you singing that same scriptures out of content over and over to put it in your brain while they scraping and big blocking. That's what we used to say, big blocking, and just getting paid. Make them pay tax each week at Sunday Mass. Use the money supposed for poor to build flourishing business centers, right? The community just beautiful, right? The communities be just straight on point. But they say we're collecting this money for this cause, but then you look up and they got wells they ain't even dug. Institute a confessional system which allows you to be good detectives denouncing any black that has a different conscience contrary to that of the decision maker. Ooh-wee. Institute a confessional system, right? Catholics got this confessional. Father, I did this and I did that, right? They're using that for data, right? Which allows you to be good detectives denouncing any black that has a different consciousness, contrary to that of the decision maker. We are the decision makers. We got to keep people in line. We can have folks saying and doing what they want because they might influence other. Shalom, Brother Exodus. They might influence other people, right? Oh, teach the triggers to forget their heroes and adore only ours. Man, I'm about to end this live. Is that not going on right now? Teach the triggers to forget their heroes and to adore only ours. We had to wait 6 billion years to get Black Panther. But anyway, we had Black Panther. We got what's his name in the DC with the cyborg. Okay, that's not real. But anyway, never present a chair to a black who comes to visit you. Don't give him more than one cigarette. Never invite him for dinner if he gives you a chicken. So they come and they give these recognition gifts to them, but I can't invite you back to my crib. He gives you a chicken every time you arrive at his house. Man, that is crazy. And when was that written? Check this out. 1883. 1883. Crazy. Crazy. And I don't know why folk, and again, I'm not making it a white or black thing, and it's in the history books. Data don't lie. It's the data, y'all. And so all of a sudden, people will just wake up one day and just be benevolent. Like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna take care. No, man, it's still for some an underlying agenda. It's still Most High is our ally. I might make a t-shirt that say that. Most High is our ally. Not saying we can't trust nobody. He give us friends and family. You know what I'm saying? But Most High is our ally. He has no hidden agenda. He has no dangling carrots. He has no, once we get this person in the office, everything gonna be all right. No, it's not. See, he giving everybody some money. Man, you finna pay for that money. We finna pay for that. It costs, man. It costs. Because then the next wave, and I want to go into the other show and be like, oh, you like that? Yeah. You want to continue to participate? Yeah. Well, you need to show your certificate of JAB ID, or you need to do this or do that, right? In order to participate in our system. Or you ain't going to be able to participate in our system. Missionaries are still weapons of government. Ooh. Say that. Right after 1866. Yeah, man, we got the historians in the building, man. Hey, y'all provoked me to study, and that's why when I read that letter, because of y'all and people like Brother Ron Shield, shout out to Kingdom Harbinger Ministry, he's like, man, look, you just don't take one source. You got to check it between other sources. And I was like, you're right, bro. So when I read that letter, I was like, this is a made-up letter. I couldn't believe it. So I had to check, and I verified it with 5 other sources. And I couldn't believe that, man. It was in French, and they translated to English, and that's what it said. But I'm gonna share the screen again. We almost done with this part 1, but it was really about part 2, but I wanted to get into this part 1. So the mutilated people who didn't want to cut the rubber out the rubber trees and stuff, cut their hands off, man. Okay, the resistance, Zulu. This is the warrior class. Zulu fight the British. Shaka, the leader of the Zulu, formed a well-trained army in an effort to create a bigger state. His successor failed to continue his strength, and British invaders moved in. The Zulu bravely fought the British using spears and shields, but eventually were defeated by the British weapons. Remember I told you they had that machine gun, that Industrial Revolution. See, when you fight each other on the same continent, I got a spear, you got a spear, I got a shield, you got a shield, I got a bow and arrow, you got a bow and arrow. You know what I'm saying? Whoever got the most trained warriors or the most warriors, they win. You got somebody else on a whole other continent making machine guns and, man, all kind of stuff. Man, the spear can't do nothing against that. The Zulu bravery fought the British spear. Okay, by 1887, the Zulu had fallen under British domination. And that's what it'd be like in that movie and stuff like that. Okay. Now, this is crazy. Now, this is one of the slides. I don't think it's no positive effects to colonialism, but I'm going to read them. So the negative effects to colonialism. African people lost their land. You don't think? Their independence, right? They are dependent upon somebody else, and their culture. See that word culture? We always talk about the culture. They want to erase and forget their culture and join my culture. Like, your culture is more important. Your culture trumps my culture. And thousands of lives due to either disease or war. Division of the continent. Boundaries created by Europeans pose several problems that are still present today. Now, this is what they say positives come out from it. Reduce local wars. Okay, if you kill them, there ain't gonna be no war. Improve sanitation. This right here is one of the biggest lies. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because we had science, we had math, we had street lights, we had sewage system, we had heart surgery, we had brain surgery, and not just Kemet in Egypt, right? The Moors and a lot of they had this technology They had these different things. They was very sanitized. So we ain't just some savages in the backwoods of the bone on our nose, and you teach us how to wash our hands. No. When they went to Europe, you can look this up, man. There was all kind of plagues and falling out. The Moors came through there, and they was like, "Oh man, you can't have the pig be in the house with you. You can't have this type of animal. That them animals go in a barn. They got their own house. They can't be among you like that, right? Because that's how diseases and infections spread. I'm not making this up. I know folk gonna be like, he tripping. Data don't lie, stats don't lie, history don't lie. You can ask my two historians in the building. Okay. Provided hospitals and schools. Okay, they provided hospitals and schools. One thing I want to say about the hospitals too, you might say, oh man, that's bringing modern medicine, but a lot of it is bringing synthetic medicines, like synthetic pills, synthetic drugs. One thing is, when we got sick, what did we do before that, right? This earth suit is from terra firma. It's from the ground, right? So in order to heal it, there was something in the ground that healed it, right? Some kind of weed or some kind of plant or some kind of bush or stem, and they would that's how they would heal themselves, right? But a lot of the modern hospitals, yeah, they can sew you up better, you know, if you had stitches or something. But then you got these synthetics. We got all these different plastics and different chemicals going in our bodies from the pharmaceutical companies and stuff like that. We got all these different things going in our body, and that's why our body rejects it. That's why it's not herbal medicine. So that's one thing you might say, okay, they did improve the hospitals. And they said they did improve the schools. Okay. But if you're saying, if you took away the culture, I'm not learning my culture when I go to that school, right? If you take away, I'm learning your culture. I'm learning that George Washington didn't tell a lie, and he chopped down a cherry tree and all this other stuff, you know what I mean? And Ben Franklin with a key, and he discovered electricity by running and flying a kite outside, and all this different stuff. And I'm not saying it's all false, but some of that stuff it ain't the truth, man. It's pulled truth, man. Right? They learned a lot of stuff from the Library of Alexandria. And I don't want to get into another lesson, but that Library of Alexandria had a lot of different things, right? And then when the Greeks came through, there's like the scrolls burnt up. Man, those scrolls ain't burnt up. Y'all got them scrolls, man. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion, man. But anyway, let's get back to this. I don't want to mess with this. Okay, economic growth was one of the positive things. Africans' products became valued on an international market. But who's making a profit off of these products valued on the international market? De Beers Diamond Country. Let just their diamonds alone. If you say, look, we're gonna train you how to mine your own diamonds, and we're gonna give you this, we're gonna loan you this equipment. Once you make X amount of money, pay for the equipment. Man, they could take it the whole continent with their diamond mines in South Africa alone, let alone all of the oil, let alone all of the precious diamonds, let alone the gold, all these different things. But what's mine is mine, what's yours is mine. It ain't yours no more, homie. That's mine. Got straight Debo. What bite? What continent? That's my continent. Anyway, the white man's burden. The white man burden poem. As the white man burden was meant to both encourage and warn the United States in Kipling's view. Imperialism is not just a way for countries to grab power. It was also a form of humanitarianism, a way to help the less fortunate people around the world. So they came and like, you know what? This white man's burden. This is our burden to help you. We hear that it's a humanitarian duty to help you, to bring you these jabs, because y'all had, you know what I mean, to bring you all these modern medicines, to bring you all of this different things. Be straight. We don't need to. We were doing all right. No, I insist. No, I don't want it. No, I insist. Hey, Kipling believed white man's burden was the duty of a white man to bring education and salvation to people around the world he deemed uncivilized. Again, we're not uncivilized like that, man. We had a lot of stuff going on. And I didn't learn that till after I got out of high school and went to college. And one of my brothers was doing African American studies. And he was like, did you know this? Did you know that? I said, man, nah, man. What? Started showing me in the book. I'm like, what? Wow. It's just more than Gary Morgan and the traffic light and the cotton gin, Eli Whitney or the cotton gin. It was like, man, it was a whole bunch of stuff we invented. Charles Drew and all kind of stuff we invented, man. Even before over here, it was a whole bunch of stuff. So we weren't like uncivilized, right? And even when in slavery, they brought the best. They brought the regal class Negroes. They brought the carpenters, the blacksmiths, the smart people, right? Even on the voyage, some people say even on the voyage over here, they had some of us navigating to say, all right, okay, we're gonna go this way and go that way because we came over here before. So it wasn't like you were just exploring and you just, oh man, I'm sure I'm taking y'all to a new place. Some of us came over here. We y'all were the only ones with ships. But anyway, let's finish, man. Folk gonna think I'm turning to fair time. White man's burden positively represent colonial imperialism as a moral burden of the right race who are divinely destined, manifest destiny, divinely destined to civilize the brutish non-white. That's terrible. Others who inhabit a barbarous part of the world, who inhabits the barbarous parts of the world, right? That's crazy, man. You can look all this up. All right. So I think that's it. Look at that. What's mine is mine. What's yours is mine. Right? Leaving few coins. But I was going to get to the other side, other share. But I want to share the scripture, man. And we're going to get out of here. We're going to get out of here, man. But I'm just saying, I couldn't believe it when I was doing it. I just really just like, wow. Okay, I clicked the wrong button. All right. Let's just read, man, that Psalms 83, man. And then the Psalms 91 in the New Living Translation. There is hope. I don't leave people hanging. There is always hope. We praise the Most High. We thank the Most High. What do you say right here? Second Exodus. Western medicine causes all kind of long-term. Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I had showed earlier, I got this medical apartheid book. You need to get that book, man. It's more than just Tuskegee, man. It was all kinds of experiments, man. It's crazy, man. And so when he's like, I'm good, love on the jab, they'd be like, you know what? Oh, wait a minute. I made a mistake. Yeah, I did say the earth is in the hand of the yeah, he did. Absolutely. He did say that. God implores to confound us. A song of Psalms. Keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they hate thee, and have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against the hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may no longer be in remembrance. They have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, Israelites, Moabites, and the Hagarenes. And it also talk about Gerbal, Ammon, Amalek, Philistines, and the inhabitants of Tyre. Right? So I just say, man, I got one more scripture to read, and then we're gonna close out. Stop that. The Psalms 91 in the New Living Translation, because I don't like to leave folk hanging. You know what? My earlier shows, I used to just give information and be like, all right, thanks for coming, good night. And folk would just be sitting there leaking with no hope. Well, brother Brian Edwards would be like, hey man, shout out to brother Brian Edwards down in Indianapolis. He'd be like, hey man, you can't just give them information and leave them leaking, man. You got to give them some hope. Lead them to the old rugged, but or lead them to the Most High. Okay, Psalm 91. Those who live in the shelter of the Most High will find rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I declare about the Lord, he alone is my refuge and my place of safety. He is my God, and I trust him. For he will rescue you from every trap and protect you from deadly disease. Man, man. He will cover you with his feathers. He will shelter you with his wings. His faithful promises are your armor and protection. Wow. Do not be afraid of the terrors of night, nor the arrows that fly in the day. Do not dread the disease that stalks in darkness, nor the disaster that strikes at midday. Though 1,000 fall at thy side, and 10,000 are dying all around you, these evils will not touch you. Wow. Just open your eyes and see how the wicked are punished. If you make the Lord your refuge, if you make the Most High your shelter, no evil will conquer you, no plague will come near your home. For he will order his angels to protect you wherever you go. They will hold you up with their hands, so you won't even hurt your foot on a stone. You will trample upon lions and cobras. You will crush fierce lions and serpents underneath your feet. The Lord says, I will rescue those who love me. I will protect those who trust in my name. When they call on me, I will answer. I will be with them in trouble. I will rescue them in honor. I will reward them with a long life and give them my salvation. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is powerful. That is too powerful right there. So if Yah be for us, who can be against us? He said, why does the heathen rage and the nations imagine a vain thing against Yah and his anointed? But if Yah be for us, who can be against us, right? And even when before Cain slew Abel, Yah came at Cain and said, hey, man, what's going on? Why are you jealous? What's the problem? I'm paraphrasing. If you do well, if you do the same thing he do, then you're going to get the same results. You know, you're not an outcast like that. I ain't gonna just play you like that. Because y'all both in Imago Dei, y'all both created in my image and my likeness. He said, but if not, sin lie at the door. And you know it's gonna be ugly. So he let that thing, he meditated on that thing, and we know the story. He killed Abel. Abel's blood crying out from the ground. You know what I'm saying? And then the lineage of Seth came and all of that. But I'm just saying that to say, man, we got a choice. We could be, you know, it's got sheep and goat. We got wheat and tares growing together. We can be the wheat. We can be the sheep. He said, the sheep hear my voice and another they won't follow. Right? So we trust in the Most High, and we thank everything that he's done and everything that he's doing. But I want you guys to tune in tomorrow. If not, I'm going to tape it. This was the main reason I was getting to. They're doing a new Scramble for Africa. China's building high rises over there. And it's just funny because we're having a trickle exodus from this country. A lot of people going back to the continent. Tanzania, Ghana, a lot of people going back to the continent, right? And so now all of a sudden they want to grab, you know, a new Scramble for Africa. And they're building high rises, they're building a lot of different things over there. But I'm saying you got to have right intentions. We like, man, I'm gonna build you a school. Well, can we learn our stuff? Or do we got to learn just your stuff? You know what I mean? That's just one way. That's just one-sided, right? Man, I'm gonna build you this. I'm gonna build that. You know what I mean? When you run alongside me, you know, even when we came out from Babylon, it was like, can we help y'all build an altar and all that? And it was like, nah, man, this is. You will be able to join in later, but right now this is a dedication to the Most High and us. And they went and they plotted. They're like, all right, bet. They went off and plotted somewhere else. Was like, forget it. We just gonna run up on you. We just gonna, you know, and it's like, man, you ain't got to do all that. You ain't got to do all that, right? And so we just thank Yah for everything that he's doing. And make sure you tune in tomorrow. If you ever subscribe, hey, this is my man right here. He's like, why not? Well, you ain't subscribed? Good question. Make sure you check out the Dangling Carrot, the True Cross of Free Money. It's going to cost us this money that we got, that free money. Tomorrow, part 2, new Scramble for Africa. As you can tell, it's telling we got the United States and they got the China's flag in there, but there's some other countries too, right? But the enemy wants to have the bodies and souls of men, as it said in Revelation, right? John 10:10 said, the enemy come to steal, kill, and destroy. I come that you may have life and that more abundantly. So he wants to have the bodies. So he wants to be in control. And that's the reason why the Great Reset is coming, because the funds is going out of control and the resources going out of control and people's opinion going out of control. That's why they got to bring all the thoughts. You know how we got to bring all the thoughts captively, cast down every imagination and bring all the thoughts captive into the mind of Christ. He's trying to bring all of the thoughts captive until their new world order, their new system. They want to bring all the thoughts captive. And so a lot of that free speech and stuff is going to be considered censored. It's going to be censored. It's going to be called hate crimes. It's going to be crazy, man. And their report is going to be the final report, even if it's a lie. There ain't going to be no alternative truth in their eye, right? And whatever they say, the breaking news, that's it. You know what I'm saying? And we might get some books. We might know some stuff. Hey, that's a lie. But you can't come up against that. Even right now, in China or Korea, whatever they say, go. You come up and say, man, I found some different information. Man, look, you're going to get bambooed in your back. Go to your apartment. What I say. You don't come with no alternative facts from what I said. You know what I'm saying? You get bambooed right in the back of your back. So anyway, check us out tomorrow. Who is the God of this world? Special guest panel. Shout out to Second Exodus, man. It was a blessed show. Big Red and Rohan came up on there, man. That was a blessed show. Vitamin D deficiency, the mental health, and the melanated people, right? We got to get a certain amount of vitamin D. We need a certain amount of vitamin D. It helps us, and the best way to get it is from the sun. So we got to be like, quit trying to block the sun. They're trying to block the sun. For real, it's real. So love y'all with the love of the Messiah. Bless y'all, and thank y'all for joining, man. Thank y'all for joining. Subscribe, like, share, and we are out of here.
Perfect. Perfect.